shirt on.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often, does it?
No. You a flowery shirt or a big jumper, man.
There'll be two moves.
Generally.
There'll be two moves, but I've walked a polo shirt on today because this weather's just unreal, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
We should be doing all of our work outside, like when you used to in school.
Next door, the office next to us, if you like, or like adjacent or whatever, they've got like a little outside veranda area, and they've been having the lunch out there. You're having the time of their lives.
What a gang they are!
Yeah, haven't invited us once, so we're thinking about just pressing myself up to the window next time, just kind of looking at them. Looking really sad.
It's an option.
If they invite me.
It's as much of an option as anything else is.
Yeah. So there we are. But what stuff you went to the awards last night?
I went to the LFC Awards. It was really kind of Laduma and Wayne Scholes to invite us along. I was there, Rob, and Danny Gutman. And it was a nice night. It was a bit weird in places. I mean, I came late, so, the room was strangely lit and it made all your food look orange because they were trying to promote this the orangest thing I've ever eaten, but it was delicious. And then they did the awards between Maine and Puddings, which for me is a bold move and possibly erroneous, but it's not my awards.
Just remember it for the future.
Well, I'm just all the way through. I was sitting there thinking, could do this cracking on because I want to get me pudding here. But the awards themselves, they were nice. It's a funny thing because the footballers, they're obviously they're not comfortable talking in front of large crowds, and there is like Coutinho wins 4 times, and by the 4th time he probably knows he's won 4 times. And he's just not got a lot to say. He wants to win next week. He's proud of what he's done, but he feels vaguely embarrassed actually because he knows it's a team game.
Yeah.
And he's won 4 awards, and he's a bit like, and also Benteke's was the best goal of this season by a mile at Old Trafford, whether we like it or not, it was. But there's, you get the impression he's a bit like, listen, all these other lads are here, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them. And this coaching staff's here, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them. And I'm not having a go at anyone here. I just think it's a bit, maybe there was a way to rejig it or something, so that sort of thing didn't happen because he was just a bit embarrassed and a bit mortified. And then, English is his second language, and he's obviously, he's there to play football, not to talk to a mass tables of people. And even, Martha Harris won, and she doesn't have a lot to say because again, that's not her job.
Yeah.
So you're in this strange situation where, for instance, if you get awards like music awards or something, people who tend to be, I mean, some aren't, but people who tend to be, they're used to
gregarious people,
and they're used to being in front of large crowds. Yeah. And so there's whereas it was just this same sort of, I mean, I don't know, I mean, tweets weren't meant to be facetious, but I did sort of think towards the end it was turning into, X has won this, and he got up and he said thanks to everyone.
Yeah.
And that's all that happens. And then, so Klopp comes across like the rock star he is because he's dead funny and he loves it and he knows where there's room for a joke and all that sort of stuff. And he's genuinely comfortable in this environment, and he also wants everyone to have a nice time, because that's his thing. But on the whole, I mean, it's a nice night. It's a nice thing that they were doing, and they were raising a ton of money for the foundation, which is, the core element. I'm sure if they were sitting here now, they'd be saying, but Neil raised a ton of money for the foundation. But then it ended with fireworks and flames and celebratory poppers, and I'm a bit like, well, if we don't win next Wednesday,
we're eighth, lads.
we're eighth, and we're eighth, and we've got to 2 finals, granted. But I mean, again, the manager might even sit there and argue with you here and say, well, you've got to celebrate the good times, you've got to celebrate your wins, and I sort of agree with that. But there is a little bit of a, I don't know quite if it's for, is I think me thing, because it doesn't feel entirely like it's for the players, but they might say
it was on telly as well, wasn't it?
It's on telly, so maybe it's for the wider LFC community, and that's great. But then the thing that's in my head, and again, it's circumstances and it's events, but then the thing that's in my head is, well, it sort of should just be after the last game.
Yeah, I think the problem is, and this is stuff we'll come on to, in fact we'll go into it now, is that everyone goes home. So everyone goes, so the players go, and they're only actually getting, Klopp's been talking about this, just a really good, interesting thing about something read in the Guardian side of this morning about Klopp, about pre-season, and basically said you can have 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
And so if you're only giving them 2 weeks off, you can't then say, you've got to come to this awards thing on Tuesday.
Yeah, you've got to come a week, you've got to hang around for 6 days.
Yeah.
You can't go, and also your national team's probably asking for you.
Yeah.
The Euros do start pretty, and then the Euros starts, I think, on the 10th, 10th of June, our last game's on the 18th of May. So, there's, I mean, say what you want about international football, it's not unreasonable that managers get 2 weeks with players before the start of a big major tournament, so I take all the points, and I think you're spot on, and I think, so therefore it just feels this, and as I say, I had a nice time, and it's full of nice people, and it's full of nice people trying to do a nice thing, and it raised lots of money for charity, and maybe that's what you've just got to sort of take from it, is raise lots of money for charity, Neil. Let's just all relax and just just get onto that bit, to a really good cause, because we know the LFC Foundation, and we've done some bits and pieces with them now over the last 12 months, and they are all very, very committed to the thing that they're doing, aren't they? So that's a good thing. Yeah,
and Rob Layton, who went bought Joe Gomez's boot.
Big win.
He's seen it as an investment.
Long-term investment.
Future England captain. I mentioned the pre-season. It's actually 4 weeks that they're getting off, but Klopp's done a really interesting interview. It's in The Guardian. I'm not sure if it's else. It might be elsewhere as well, but I read it in The Guardian. I think it was in The Echo
as well.
Right, and he basically said, you know, he expects them to do nothing for 2 weeks, and then to have another 2 weeks training at 60-70%. And then they're back
by
in.
themselves, I think.
Yeah, they're back in. And then they're back in, and they are training 3 times a day, starting at 7 a.m. I'm stressed out thinking about it.
I'm sort of, I could get into it, but probably only for like 3 days. And then by day 4, I'd be like, someone's going to have away with this fella here.
Yeah, because they all live miles away as well.
Yeah, exactly. What time do they drive?
They live in Southport, you get up at 5:30.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe they should just set up tents in the academy or in the Melwood facility and just sort of.
But it's going to be a punishing pre-season for them. But you know, he's been very vocal, Jurgen Klopp, ever since he got here about, you know, wanting more time with his players, and I think he's seeing this as a big period. And he said, you know, if we're playing well in pre-season, then I'm doing something wrong. So, you know, if you go into the pre-season games, just expect to see some shattered lads who've barely slept. Wandering around the football pitch, but you know, we'll have a sing-song, it'll be fine. So but then he also said what was quite interesting was he wants the people who go away with England to more or less have the same pre-season as the ones who aren't. So what he's saying is that if England gets to the European Championship final, don't worry, this is just an if.
Okay.
If England gets it then, and Lallana's playing and Milner's playing, what he's saying is they probably won't play in the first couple of games of the season.
Yeah.
Because.
But this comes back to my thing that I think he's going to have a bigger squad than I think firstly he would have thought he'd have when he first arrived come this time next season, but secondly than people in general might have surmised. And I think how that squad's made up, I think we'll always be able to be pedantic and argue between, you know, what age the lads who are 22 to 28 in the squad, if you know what I mean, are, and all that sort of stuff. And you might be able to say, oh well, he's just aligning it with youth players, but I think he's going to think he's going to have like a 25-28 man squad where he can see a role for everyone. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's some lads who get absolutely like lashed into that first 2 months of the season, and then you're like, they sort of disappear for 3 months, and you're like, what's happened to him? That really wouldn't surprise me if he almost, you know, that some of them might even be doing 4 training sessions a day. But you know, the idea that I need you for this block because these other lads who are then going to come through as it wears on, I'm not going to have them quite where I need them. And I always think, and we have these conversations around every year around the pre-season tours, I always think you can notice the promoted sides especially, it's now not a rarity that of the promoted sides or the bottom half sides, 2 or 3 start very, very strongly. And I think part of the reason is they don't have as many trips and all that, but I think as well there's a decision made by their manager, by their staff, to almost go, you know what, we can make hay while the sun shines here. Well, everyone else is getting the sea legs first 10 games, we could get into this situation where we can go bang and be off and be going at a certain pace. And I wonder if Klopp's thinking, well, if they can do that, we can. Yeah,
quite possibly. I think it's going to be an interesting start of the year, and seeing how it goes. It's interesting. He keeps boosting his backroom staff as well. He's apparently very kind of envious of what they've done in Bayern Munich in terms of fitness and things like that. We've already got a fitness coach on there. He's just nicked their nutritionist as well, which apparently they're not too happy about, which always feels like a win. Mona Nema, her name is, I think, Mona Nema.
Splendid.
So she's going to get involved. She's boss of the nutrition, apparently.
In her honour this morning, I had a smoothie for breakfast.
We haven't signed Dembele, he's gone to Dortmund, but you know what they say, it's strikers for show, nutritionists for dough.
Great, let's get that on a banner. Strikers for show, nutritionists for dough. What's he having for his lunch? Bet it's not as good as what we're having ours next season, lads.
Yeah, Dembele walking around with the Mackies, can't score a thing. Our boys are flying. So there you are. Just a few other things. Obviously, it's the final next Wednesday. We've been talking about where you can watch it in Liverpool. Sean, who's doing the camera work today, our social media guy, he's going down to watch it at the Echo Arena. Tickets are on sale at midday today. The £5. I'm getting nods from Sean there. So he's down there.
You've got all the facts.
He's down there at lunchtime getting his tickets. It's going to be brilliant. That, you know, in terms of the atmosphere, I just hope there's enough ale on.
Yeah, that's always the concern.
Yeah, I mean, they have those guys with the things on the back, don't they?
Yeah, but they need to really work them hard.
Yeah.
Get teams of them, squadrons.
Yeah, possibly people like able to parachute in and fill them when they run out.
Oh,
because that's the worst, isn't it? When they have to get off.
Yeah.
You know, you cued at your fella and he's like, ran out.
Yeah. Maybe like just a team of them like dangled and suspended from the ceiling, being able to swoop in.
Yeah.
Disappear back up again.
Yeah, like
just a trail of Carlsberg.
So if you could sort that, I might not even go to Bath. In Boston, I know it's a fiver in there. Cabin Fairness are doing something, always a really good place to watch the match. Our mates at Boss Mag look like they're doing something at District,
we'll retweet that later on.
Which would be really good. They're just trying to work out something to show the game. Basically, it's that simple. But now it's on Freeview and YouTube and all that. I'm sure there's someone with a decent wireless connection who can sort it. Right, 2 more things.
Imagine if the wireless goes at the wrong time. Like sometimes when we DJ.
Yeah, that'd be rubbish. Right, 2 more things. Who's your favourite Lee-born sports journalist?
Lee-born?
Lee.
Oh, David Lynch.
David Lynch,
David Lynch all day.
Everyone's favourite Lee-born football journalist, Dave Lynch, has done an interview with Origi. Origi says he's ahead of schedule.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, Jordan Henderson doesn't look ahead of schedule.
Does he not?
I saw him at the thing last night. Jordan Henderson looks like he needs a stick, frankly. But yeah, so Origi's ahead of schedule.
He's ahead of schedule. He fancies it, and I think Sunday might be quite an interesting game. It's going to be a bit mad. Games that aren't on telly at all intrigue me, but this one might be a bit mad. But because there's going to be lads who aren't taking it very seriously, and then potentially Origi and Henderson who just want to show their fit, absolutely legging it about everywhere. Go and look at me. It could be an interesting one for that. But yeah, so Origi had a schedule.
If you let Henderson have his stick on the pitch.
That's really funny. Right, okay, you ready for your head to fall off?
Go on. You've said this to me before. Before we did the video, we went to, do you know anything about the playoffs? And I've gone, what? And he went, do you know anything about the playoffs? I said, well, no bit. So he went, I'm going to tell you something on the video, your head's going to fall off. So I wasn't then allowed to look at any news media, just on the off chance. So go on.
It's not the playoffs, it's a playoff.
A playoff.
Liverpool might have another game.
What? No, absolutely not. When?
After the season's finished.
How?
Okay. If West Ham lose 1-0 and we win 2-1 and Southampton don't win, we're tied with West Ham on everything and we've got to play them on a neutral ground.
No.
The Echoes worked it out. They reckon there's a 77-1 chance of that happening.
Absolutely not.
I told you.
Is there a head-to-head element?
Apparently not.
There's not a head. They're not allowed for this. Like there could be a head-to-head element. So we same number of goals scored, same number of goals conceded, same record through the season.
We've got to play them.
But then no one's written a head-to-head element because they beat us twice, and they can have that covered as 6th slot as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it's not just for it's the UEFA Cup spot they're more interested in than the 6th. I think they'll just tie us for 6th, but it's this UEFA Cup spot that they're insisting on. If we win the Europa League, then it's fine, and if you didn't want to win the Europa League enough. So if we win the Europa League, we just go into the Champions League and it's fine. But if we don't win I know like these things happen this weekend.
I feel like this is going to happen now. I wish you hadn't told me. Like I'm now certain it's going to it's felt all season. Like if there's any way to get extra time in a game, we found a way. If there's any way to get a replay, we found a way. We had 2 FA Cup games, the 3rd and the 4th round. We managed to get 2 replays. I can't live with this anyway. Alright, I can't cope. I'm desperate for this season to stop. This is the lunchtime video with me and John. I'm going to go and have a lie down in a darkened room. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.